Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Sorry. That's the intro for you.
Fuck yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another audio episode of the Wind Down. I'm sitting here with yet again PrestigeIsKey. How you doing, my
Hello
friend?
again, everybody. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing swell. Now, Ryan has actually been a part of the Wind Down before, like I mentioned, close to a year at this point.
May something is like a year exactly.
It's crazy. It's absolutely wild. Time has flew by, but he is back, and we've got it slightly different this time around. We're kind of just going to do it more as a podcast type thing rather than interview, because we already, of course, have discussed everything with Ryan being a creator. So we're just going to sit here. We brought a few topics each, some that we know, some that we don't know, that each other brought, and we're going to see how it goes. We'll see if this sees the light of day. I don't know.
I hope it does. You know, I feel kind of bad. I feel like I should have been more proactive about trying to get back on the Wind Down, but like you were saying before, like with it being sort of like an interview show, it's just kind of difficult to throw yourselves into the ring of just kind of having a discussion about nothing and everything at the same time.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like you actually have said and put your hand up and said, I will be a part of this again if you're stuck for guests, which I highly appreciate. So that's you lied. You have wanted to become a part of it again.
I love doing this type of stuff. I don't know.
And also, I think like to do like a podcast form thing with anybody else feels slightly, I don't know, anxiety driven. Thinking about it, but
Really?
yeah. But when I like sit here and we were talking about this potential idea, it was comfortable with you because we talk. We talk every so often, so I feel a bit more comfortable and a bit more kind of at ease, which I think, pardon me, one of these kind of things, that's what you need, right? A little bit of comfort. So
That makes me feel special. Thank you.
oh, we'll cut the next
Thank
bit
you.
out.
Oh.
Off the top, I just want to kind of bring us in to the vibe, and I kind of want to start off with a topic, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
One of my good friends, Naomi, and a dear mod, and a friend of mine, has actually requested a topic, and I think it's really good. How much gaming has changed since the 90s?
Oh my gosh, this is great. I mean, I'm wearing my 90s Crocs right now.
You want to talk about that briefly for a second?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, like, there's really not much to say other than Blaz was like, yo, you got to get these Crocs. And then basically I was trying to find him a pair, and then we ended up just going twinsies on it and getting the same one.
I'll definitely put a photo on the video. 100%.
They're like, I'll give you a better photo.
Oh yeah.
If you just wanted like one of mine, but these things are nice and they're from the 90s, so like, they're not from the 90s, but you know what I mean.
They're 90s inspired, and it fits perfectly to this topic of how much gaming has actually changed since the 90s. And if you want to bring us up,
yeah, I mean, I guess my question to you would be, just to start this conversation, is like, when did you first start gaming? What was your first experience with it?
So my first experience with gaming, hands-on myself, was the original Xbox, I believe. And it was the, I think it was Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2. I cannot remember. I think it might have been Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3. I don't know. But it was definitely the original Xbox, and it was, I think, the original Spider-Man game. And that was at my grandparents' house. Same as the PlayStation 1.
Your grandparents had an Xbox?
My granddad's a gamer, man. Not as devoted as we are, but he used to play a lot of the sniper games and that kind of vibe. And then I played Spyro a lot on the PS1. I think
I love Spyro.
Yeah, it's a distant memory, and I'll say I think a lot when I think back, but I'm pretty sure it was Spyro on the PS1. Later on, I had my own 360, blah blah blah. Had a PSP, played Medieval, phenomenal game, absolutely phenomenal.
Did you play the remake?
I did. I didn't feel like I got the same kind of excitement.
I felt the same way. It wasn't the same. I guess it's going into the same topic though.
Yeah, exactly. When did you start like really playing video games recreationally?
Oh, so like not just the first time, but like when I actually started to sit down and do it myself.
When you wanted to actually do that yourself, yeah.
Okay, it was a long, long time ago. Like the first game I ever played was Tetris on the original Game Boy at my aunt's house,
Oh
and like
wow.
from there, it kind of like turned into an obsession for me. So my mom, I remember she picked up a PlayStation 1 and I had this game. It was called like 10 pin bowling or something, and it was just really crude humor. My mom didn't know. She thought it was like a rated E game or something. But it was like super crude humor, like on the level of South Park, I remember.
Oh wow.
But I would
Oh.
play that all the time. And then it just kind of transformed into like the Spyro the Dragons, the Crash Bandicoots, the
Mm-hmm.
Tony Hawk games. And this is one thing that always sticks in my mind. I had a Jam Pack disc. Do you remember those?
Jam pack disc.
It was like a demo disc that had like, I don't know, 12 games on it. It would come with like a magazine, or you could get it with like a subscription or something. I don't even know how I got this. I think it came through like a Pizza Hut box or something. But there was this game on there called Thrasher, and at certain points you would have to run from the police officer, and he'd have like a taser and take you down. And it was like my first introduction to ragdoll physics. That's forever in my head, but that's where it all began for me back then.
Okay. Yeah. I think like the first, I mean, that was at my grandparents' house and I played it quite a bit, yeah. But I genuinely believe like whenever I first got my PS2 at my house, I started to play Simpsons Hit and Run, and
Oh,
like the
I love
Simpsons
that game.
game, the Simpsons Hit and Run, and a lot of people can agree with this. It is pinnacle gaming. I don't care what anyone else says. Pinnacle gaming. Simpsons Hit and Run. Sometimes you have a memory card, or sometimes you just got to see how much of the missions you can do in one sitting. Missing dinner, like it doesn't matter. I'm playing Simpsons Hit and Run, and that was kind of the same with me for the Simpsons game, the Simpsons movie game. No, it was just the Simpsons game, right?
I never played that one.
It was good. It
I
was more
played Hit
3D.
and Run.
And then there was, I think on the PSP or handheld, there was Road Rage or something with Simpsons, something like that, dude.
Simpsons Road Rage, I remember, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was something like that.
phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I played those a
It's
lot.
crazy though because the Simpsons Hit and Run was like an introduction to like a GTA style game for those that weren't allowed to get M-rated games.
I believe that's one of the first and like only ones to hit like a certain like popularity. I'm pretty sure because
Yeah, there weren't many. I mean, the only other one that I could think of is like True Crime Streets of LA, but
there is
that
still
was
there's still people speedrunning on Twitch Simpsons Hit and Run, and there's a decent amount of people.
really
I swear there is still a decent like community like that is devoted to speedrunning Simpsons Hit and Run. It's
that's
baffling to me.
dope.
Yeah, so that's really where I started with like video games, and then played Vice City on the PSP too. Oh, beautiful.
Vice City Stories was
Yeah,
amazing.
Vice City stories exactly.
Oh, I'm so excited to see if this new PlayStation Plus service has those games.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but one of the higher tiers. What was Vice City Stories on anything else?
It released on the PS2 actually.
Oh, I'll be done.
They released it towards the end of the game's life. I think I'm remembering correctly. It was like a bundle pack. I for some reason subconsciously remember looking at GameStop. It was like a double pack.
Okay.
Or actually it wasn't even GameStop. It was called like Funko Land or something. That's how long ago that was.
Well, fair. I mean, like, I think that's I think that's like where it really truly began, and then obviously from there I played the. Actually, I played Modern Warfare 2 in my school youth club offline, like split screen. Uh,
At school?
it was a school youth club, like after school, like late at night, maybe like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. You come back and
Gotcha.
it's um, yeah. It was a certain part of the school that was like I think primarily just for the youth club, I believe, and then it had a few Xbox 360s. So sometimes, some this is the saddest thing I will say on the record ever. Sometimes I didn't have a friend there, so I would take the MW2 split screen and I would play with myself. Not like that, but genuinely play split screen by myself. If you know you're bored enough, you'll make it work. Um, yeah, I'm cutting that
Yeah.
out.
No. I don't think that's sad at all. I mean, we've all had those times where like Okay, let me tell you a story about this as well. Like I have a very similar story.
Yeah.
When I was younger and we didn't have internet connection, and like I didn't realize how important it was to have internet in order to play online games. I wasn't familiar with the internet because I actually didn't get the internet until I was almost graduated with high school.
My goodness.
It's kind of weird to say that because like all of my friends would have the internet and computers and stuff, and then I was still the kid that had to go to the library to print out things and stuff. Um, but when I got my Xbox 360, I didn't realize I needed the internet, so I went up to GameStop and I got one of those little Wi-Fi adapters.
I was gonna ask, did you also have one of those little? Did they work?
Yeah. Well, the guy told me, "Hey, if you get this Wi-Fi adapter, you get free internet." And I'm like, "That's what I need to play Halo 3? Then that's what's going to be." I spent like I think it was $99 on this stupid little adapter, plugs in via USB,
My God,
and it does not give you internet, but it can steal other people's Wi-Fi signals.
that's
So
confusing.
that's what he meant to say, but he kind of made it seem like if I plug this in, I'm going to have internet. Anyway, then we ended up getting internet, and yeah, the rest is history.
I like that. So,
But
from
I would play split screen with myself like a lot because
yeah,
I didn't have anyone to play online with.
if I knew you back then, Ryan, I would play. I would play split screen with you. Don't worry. Don't
Yeah, we
worry.
could sit there with Cheetos on our fingertips and like get the controllers all dirty.
Don't make me feel uncomfortable, please. Let's not do this. So from talking about past games, growing up, getting to really enjoy and indulge in video games, now moving forward to the future for upcoming title releases. What are you most excited for upcoming games, or something that you're playing currently?
I think really when it comes to upcoming releases, I'm excited for a few of I would say they're like the big three. God of War for the PS5, um, Hogwarts Legacy, and I'm looking forward to whatever they're doing with Cyberpunk, funny enough, because after all the updates that it's gotten, they're also planning even more expansions to it. And I think that it's going to become something just unlike anything we've seen before in gaming. At least that's what I'm hoping.
I don't even know. I've been thinking about this since last night about upcoming title releases. Apart from hopefully MW 2022 being good, I'm just excited for like you were saying, expansions for like actual, pardon me, like actual expansions for games that already are released. So for example, Valorant. I love Valorant. I've been getting into it a lot more recently, starting to play more PC games.
Hmm.
And there with I think with every act, which is like every season, they bring an operator or like an agent in, or every other one. I don't know, but they're teasing one now. I'm excited to get into that fresh and brand new for the first time, and it's things like that, like certain games with certain updates. Warzone 2, I think is going to be phenomenal. I'm hoping it is with the new engine with MW2.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I think right now we're at kind of a dull point. Not really a big fan of like Harry Potter, so I'm not really excited for the Hogwarts Legacy.
Hmm.
I'll play it. I'll play it. I'll dabble. I'll see how it is once like certain reviews come out, or I talk to you and see how it is. Um, what else did you say?
I'm
What was
just
the other
trying to
two?
become Voldemort. I just want to become Voldemort because I heard there's like a system in that game, kind of similar to Fable, where you could be good or evil.
I've never played Fable.
You've never played Fable?
Yeah, never.
Oh my gosh, we were just talking about these games, bringing it up last night. You're like, I've never actually played that.
Yeah. What was the ones I
Fable's
mentioned
another
last
one, huh?
night? You were threw back at the things I was saying last night.
I said, "Have you ever played Kingdom Hearts?" And you're
Oh
like,
no,
"No,
no,
I don't even know what the hell that is."
no. I know. No, I knew what it was. I just didn't know where you could play it.
Yeah, it's
Don't let
available on
the
everything now.
don't let the Kingdom Hearts fan base come from you, man.
No, no, they actually will. They will welcome you with open arms. They
I,
want to bring you into this gravity well of information. I mean, the story is so convoluted at this point.
can you answer one thing? Why
Sure.
is Mickey Mouse and a Final Fantasy character together? Is it Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know, but it's like an amalgamation of just beautiful times.
So it's like Fortnite.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just getting crazier and crazier. Like the next game, Kingdom Hearts 4, which was just recently announced to be in production, they're going to be doing a Star Wars world since Disney owns the IP. This is one of those things that'll get me in trouble too because I've never seen a full Star Wars movie.
Okay, this is where we all have issues. This is my turn to be a pissed.
I've seen bits and pieces of the movies, catching it here and there, but I've never watched it from start to finish. And if I have, I don't remember doing that.
Why is that? Is that just because you just didn't want to? You're not
No, I
interested, or
just no, like it's just one of those things. I don't know, it's weird. Like it kind of feels like I've already seen the movie even though I've never seen the movie because it's like so enveloped in our pop culture and there's always references to it like who shot first and things like that.
yeah, true.
And so I see all these clips online and I watch like different types of like funny movie moments or behind the scenes bloopers and stuff. And I have consumed so much of Star Wars, but I've never actually seen the movie, which is strange to say.
Okay.
There's a lot of movies I haven't watched though.
But no, like apart from, I mean, I've been playing the Skywalker saga. Moving on from going back to the question at hand about games that I was like excited for. I was really excited for the Skywalker saga Lego game, and it's good. It's fun. I have like the final trilogy to play through. I've completed 4 to 6. Oh, sorry, 1 to 6, and it's good. But like, I
And
don't
it
know.
looks really good too.
I don't know. They've got Mandalorian characters from the show. They've got like Rogue One DLC coming out, but I think it's just the characters. I don't know if they're going to bring in like the movies. I think that would be great, like a solo expansion where it's like the solo movie, same as Rogue One, the Mandalorian, Boba Fett. I think that'd be really cool. But I think it might just be skins. I think characters. I don't know, but that's what I'm playing through at the minute. But MW2 and Warzone 2 is the really the only thing I'm looking forward to personally. Personally, I feel it's
Yeah,
pretty weird.
I didn't even mention MW2, which is weird to say. Like
Shame
I'm
on
also
you.
very excited. It's just like people ask me all the time, what games do you play? Because I think a lot of people just assume since I upload Call of Duty, that's the only thing I play.
Hmm.
I play a lot of games from a lot of different genres. Most recently, Elden Ring,
Do you still play
start to
Tony Hawk?
finish. I haven't played it since like the remaster launched, and I beat it on a
You
couple
beat
different
it.
accounts. And yeah, and I helped my friend unlock Jack Black because
Okay.
he's a secret character.
Yeah.
I love Tony Hawk. I played the crap out of it, but I was waiting for them to remaster 3 and 4, and I don't think that's ever going to happen because Vicarious Visions was just engulfed by Blizzard Entertainment, so that's probably never going to happen now. It's crazy. I mean, they're going to be working on everything and anything that isn't what they were doing before. So
Huh.
I don't know if they're going to like take that workload and give it to a different company, or if Vicarious Visions is still going to have free reign to do other projects. But I'm highly doubting that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, talking about Call of Duty beforehand as well with MW2 and Warzone 2, we actually both tweeted out about like questions or topics to viewers and your fans and stuff about what we want to discuss. 99.9% of it is, why is COD so bad at the minute? Is basically what it boils down to.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. So quickly, when I'm scrolling down these, can you please talk about how and if there are going to be integrations to Warzone 2, presumably from Warzone 1 and all the microtransactions? He's not wanting to buy the Snoop Dogg bundle. He won't even dare, because I'm not sure how they're going to handle it forward with the Warzone 2, which is a lot of
And
concern
that's a
for a
good
lot of people.
point.
Yeah. What's your kind of take on that? What do you think is possible to happen?
Right now, I'm unsure if all of our stuff's going to come over. And the only reason I say that is because they've already confirmed it's going to be a new engine and it's not going to be connected to the previous Warzone and it's not going to be connected to the previous 3 games that we've had. So I'm guessing, that they're probably going to start all over again with a new integrated system. But then again, that hasn't been confirmed yet, so I have no idea.
Let
That just
me
seems like the most logical answer.
Well, let me just say, what would you prefer?
I would prefer if I'd be able to keep most of the things that I got. Like, I could understand if we can't keep all of the things that we got, but I would like to keep the operators at least. I think that would be nice to have, Ghostface and Rambo and John McClane.
Yeah.
That would be cool, but I don't even know if that's what's happening. It's just really up in the air right now. And that's that's one thing I think Call of Duty is forgetting about when it comes to announcing things early, or, putting it out there for the public to know. One, they don't want to affect their bundle sales, because I can guarantee you if they were to announce, "Oh yeah, nothing's going to carry over," people would just stop buying bundles until the next game comes out.
Yeah.
And two, it's also like an anti-consumer move in my opinion, because they're not saying anything about it.
It's
Thought on
weird.
that.
It's weird because like I spent I'd say a decent amount of money into Warzone and the integrated games. Not like not a disgusting amount to be embarrassed by, but
Mhm.
enough to ponder this question, right? And it's weird that I don't really care either way. The fact that we're
Okay.
finally, I've had a PS5 from the very start, and I understand it's been very difficult for a lot of people to buy them. Um, but I've had a PS5 from the start. I've been on the current gen experience for a long time, and I understand why people don't, and they're on the last gen. But it feels like a lot of things, especially with FOV is concerned, which I actually recently spoke up about when talking to a
Mhm.
few people. Um, I feel like a lot of the games right now are held back by like the last gen experience, and I think with them announcing that it's going to be a new engine on only current gen only, I feel that's I think it's a good step and a needed step. And I'm pretty okay with leaving my stuff in the past. In Warzone 1, I like
Yeah.
the idea of a fresh restart from scratch, like a whole different, like a whole new game, which it will be.
Okay.
You know, I feel
And it makes sense to want that too, because I mean that's a whole nother conversation. I don't think that there's going to be any connection between the first Warzone and the new one. Like I don't think that it's even going to exist on the PS4 and the Xbox One.
I
So
I would agree to that. I think that they're gonna like kind of ignore the PS4 and the PS, or the Xbox One
I
platform
mean, it
for.
sounds bad when we say it like that, like, because there are still hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people who still actively play PS4 on a daily basis, actively play on the Xbox One. The
Yeah.
problem is when we're talking about multiple years later, and the application, I think the developer said this with in an interview with someone recently on their stream. These games are not intended to be made. Like Modern Warfare was the only game supposed to have Warzone,
Mm.
and Black Ops Cold War was an afterthought, and Vanguard was an afterthought. These integrations that happened only happened because of the success of Warzone, and I just find it fascinating to me that they didn't already know that was going to happen. But it's like a
Yeah.
time capsule. It's locked to certain requirements, and even though they can be unlocked to an extent with updates on current gen hardware, it becomes a really convoluted mess when you think of continuity. And of course, making sure that everyone has the same experience while making sure other players don't have a significant advantage. And I know many people bring up, well, there's crossplay and PC is, a huge advantage. And I agree, but I think that there are more people playing on last gen consoles than there are on PC, even though there's a lot of PC players as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree to that. I think like, and my opinion is obviously coming from a guy that's been on the new current gen since the start. I was very lucky and very fortunate to get at one of the first batches, right?
Hmm.
So I've been playing on the current gen for a long time, and I also know and understand the annoyance with being in last gen. But like for the progress of the actual game as a whole, like
Yeah.
the actual product that we're spending AAA title money for, I think it's the best step, because I think the same issue happened with Ghosts, and the same conversation got struck with Ghosts about how that was one of the first ones to kind of bridge the gap. I think for current and next gen, if I believe, if I believe right, and
Yeah, that was the first game that came out with a last gen version and a new gen version when the PS4 and Xbox One came out.
yeah, and I think like for a couple of years now, we've been bridging the gap with these past games for MW. No, sorry, for Cold War and Vanguard, especially. I think personally, I feel like that was just tip on the bridge that's crumbling.
Yeah.
And obviously with the
But
issues of the pandemic and production value, like production of the actual consoles, that hindered a lot of it. But when it's like actually damaging the product that we're still pumping money into, that's when that my side at least goes, I'm okay with this.
and I think it's only going to affect Warzone. I think for Modern Warfare 2, as you know, the full-fledged $60 title, $70, whatever it's going to be, that's going to also be available on previous gen. Like
Yes.
I can't see them taking away their main game, but at least Warzone, because the rumors now are saying that it's not coming out till 2023, this Warzone 2 experience, which it'll probably have a similar schedule as the first Warzone experience.
Like a later release.
Yeah, so maybe not until like March or April of 2023, as to where Modern Warfare 2 is going to be coming out at some point in October or something, probably.
Okay, that's fair. I never actually thought about that, to be honest. But no, I'm excited for Warzone 2. I'm excited for MW2. I'm excited to feel on like the current gen hardware and actually see the effect of it.
Yeah.
And have an FOV slider. Cough, cough. Wink, wink. Please and thank you.
I'm so sad that they're not going to bring that to the previous version. I guess that comes to another question for us. Like, what
Yeah.
happens to Warzone 1? Like, it's just never going to be updated again. It's just going to be like kind of a relic of the past, or are they going to stay on Caldera? Are they going to get Verdansk back? How is that going to work?
So I actually thought about this recently. I would love like Apex having multiple map rotations. I would love for them if. Okay, this is another question in a question, but Verdansk returning. There's been recent things about private matches. You can access the big map and certain things. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But there's supposed rumors of Verdansk coming back in some way, shape, or form for the Warzone experience, whether it be coming back to Warzone 2 only with the new gen, or will it return back to Warzone 1? I can see them put Caldera and Verdansk in rotation for the like last gen for Warzone 1 and kind of rotate that and keep them happy, I guess. And then
Mm-hmm.
putting their like brain power and their actual like resources into like the new current gen for Warzone 2. Would you want Verdansk to return?
I I think I preferred Verdansk. I just like the more urban, modern setting. I think the foliage and stuff of Caldera looks great. It's just I don't like it as much as the setting of Verdansk.
I don't know if it's like the way the map is actually designed. Um, the verticality is really off in Caldera. I believe it's always an uphill fight, literally.
It does seem that
literally,
way, yeah.
yeah. With the Verdansk, it was a lot more flat, a lot more buildings and levels and all that kind of stuff. I kind of prefer that. I like Caldera. I wasn't one of those that were like, bye Verdansk, never gonna miss you. But at the same
Yeah,
time,
there were a lot of people doing that.
but I was ready for a change. Of course, there was a few years of the same map and then a different version of the same map. It was a nice change. I didn't want Verdansk to fully leave. I would like it to be a rotation or a different part, in some way, shape, or form. But I brought this change with open arms. Now, getting the actual product, which is Caldera, I do enjoy it. It's a nice change up, but like you were saying, the foliage compared to the actual like verticality of like the buildings and the urban kind of feel, it's just not for me. It's
Mhm.
not for me. I see a lot of jokes about people saying about the peak erupting as like a volcano in Superstore being slap bang in the middle. I wouldn't mind that. That'd be fine. I prefer that because I feel like peak is obviously right slap bang in the middle, and it's the biggest point of the map. I just feel it always ends somewhere right there. You know?
You know, it would be really cool. I know that we're going into a Modern Warfare game and it would make sense, but if we were going into a Black Ops game or something, it would be really sweet to see the volcano erupt and then have some sort of like number situation to where it transforms back into the superstore.
I
So
wouldn't
like you
mind
have
that.
all of Caldera all around you, and then for some reason there's just a parking lot with a superstore in it where the volcano used to be, and then like other points of interest start to transform, and there's like this numbers effect and stuff. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like it's probably going to go into the conversation of the actual downfall of Call of Duty in each of our eyes. But MW2 and Warzone 2 need to be a banger. And I repeat, a banger. Because
Yeah,
Vanguard, for a lot of creators, a lot of people just recreationally playing the game, has been, I would say, considerably the lowest it's been in a long, long time.
which
And
is weird to say because the promotions and stuff were so strong for Vanguard.
yeah, yeah. I felt like the hype as well for the game, even when the beta came out and things started to like physically show like what Vanguard is. I think people were excited. Yeah, a little bit like tedious, going back to a World War II title, but I think people were hopeful, right? And so was I when the game first released, for the beta at least. Man, I had fun. I don't think I've ever had so much fun in my life on a beta. So
Yeah, it was really good.
yeah, I didn't really have much to talk bad on, apart from like the spawning in like from the top again, like the bird's eye view takes a little bit longer. Didn't really like that, but then they reverted it on release. But yeah, it was good. And then the title released, and I feel we've just been on a downward spiral since. And I think like if MW2 even semi flops, it's game over in my opinion.
Yeah, the weird thing to me is we're seeing such a downfall of Call of Duty right now with Vanguard, even though it felt like previous years were worse in community reception. Like Infinite Warfare, I felt there was a lot more hate for it, especially with all the dislikes on the YouTube, trailer. It always just seems like there was more hate and toxicity towards those games as opposed to what we have right now with Vanguard.
I feel people are
But
just done with it. Like people back
yeah,
in
that's what I
Infinite
was gonna
Warfare.
say.
Yeah.
There's nobody willing to complain anymore because people are just done and over with
Yeah.
having Vanguard as the current game.
I mean, like recently, the Snoop Dogg bundle. It's currently 420, by the way. Happy 420, everybody who
Happy
celebrates it
420
in their own
for
way.
those who are, partaking in that.
So Snoop Dogg, the bundle came out a day earlier, which I hate. Why? Why 1 day off? Dumb.
I don't know. I really don't know.
But basically, like Snoop Dogg came out. That was the first time I went on Vanguard in so long. Played a few games of S&D, tried to get a few clips. Exited the game after 3 games and haven't wanted to go back on. And I play Call of Duty a lot. Like no matter how I felt, I kind of still persevered through it, even if it like damaged my mental health. I still was like, no, I like the game. Screw what everyone else says. But Vanguard, I just gave up. I'm like, man, I can't do this anymore. Zombies, completely different story, but it's even worse. It's a whole different kettle of fish.
Zombies is like, oh my gosh, Zombies is so. I feel bad for the Treyarch team because it really does come down to time. They didn't have enough time to do what they wanted to do. If they said, hey, we need like 2 months to get a round base map or whatever, okay, we'll see you in 2 months.
Yeah.
Because now look what we're dealing with right now. We have to wait 2 months anyway now after launch for Zombies to get anything at the beginning of Season 4 or maybe even midway through Season 4.
It's crazy. Like the round based, for example, is absolutely baffling to me because the way Vanguard has their system with like the different portals for the different modes, and when we first heard about Shinonuma in the patch notes, we presumed in how they worded it, I at least took it as finally round based separate map from Duran Fang. I think that's what you call it. I can't remember anymore, man.
That's right.
And I felt that like that was the time where we were going to finally get like a separate round-based map, and it was Shinonuma, let's go. And then it wasn't. I was like, God damn. And then now again, I think it is Shinonuma again, right? They're saying it as a fully round-based zombies map. It's almost May.
I know.
That's completely baffling to me, and it's not the devs' fault, like you said. I don't think it's fully their fault. I think it's like time crunch. Everything that has been happening in the higher ups of Activision that has came to light semi recently, and I think a lot of it goes into it. And yeah,
you got to think about too, like there's just so many strikes that are happening too, and the QA testers are walking out, and it has not been a good, I would say a good past 7 months for Activision because of all the things that have been going on, and good riddance too.
Yeah.
Flush those people out. I hate the fact that developers go to work and they can't just do their jobs. That's the thing that bothers me the most.
Exactly. That it's a whole different topic in a conversation where I would actually love to like talk specifically about this certain issue in a separate video. I think that's
I think that's going to be a whole nother.
And it's not something I want to shy away from. It's not even that I want to shy away from. It's just like this is a vibe, you know. But like that's
Yeah, I
definitely
mean, that's
something
a
to
pretty sensitive topic too, because there's just so much that happened,
yeah, yeah,
and we wouldn't be able to do it justice in like a 5-minute segment in the
exactly,
video. So
yeah. But no, like we're at the point where this next title really does need to be something. Yeah, and I
yeah.
enjoyed MW 2019. I have faith that as it's a direct sequel, it's going to do great. And no matter what, MW is going to be the title that people flock to anyway for it being a title, MW. You know, so hopefully it helps.
Hmm.
Hopefully it rejuvenates the community. Hopefully we have a blessed year of Call of
It
Duty.
yeah.
You
It's
know,
gonna fall down to like the different functions and modes and things like that too, because uh, you know much of the conversation surrounds skill-based matchmaking and so many different things that people just dislike about the current state of Call of Duty. I don't know if they're going to ever switch any of that. That's the problem. If they don't do anything about that type of situation, many of the players are still going to be very much so put off about even getting the game.
I mean, like for example, everybody has their own reason for certain things being bad, right? And for
Yeah.
example, that Belgian dude on Twitter commented on your post saying, "I believe Warzone is a bad influence for multiplayer. Should the MP be heavily influenced by Warzone? To me, to them, it takes much creativity away, especially in the class system. I don't like the idea of forced perks, lethals, and tacticals. What do you guys think?"
So shout out to that Belgian dude because he's a super follower of mine as well.
Nice.
I have had this conversation many a times over the past few years since the release of Warzone, and it does seem to feel like Warzone's been getting a majority of the attention when it really wasn't what made Call of Duty what it was, but that's currently what's making Call of Duty what it is.
Yeah.
And that's a conversation I don't think a lot of us are ready to have. See, because me personally, and you will most likely feel different about this, but I'm kind of burned out about battle royale. I don't really care for it much, but I do like all of the limited time modes that happen. I'm a big fan of plunder, and I really enjoy how they have the kind of like the payload mode whenever they
Yeah.
do those. But I just don't care for battle royale, so I don't play it.
I think like I'm the same. I actually am quite burnt out on BR modes, no matter what game it is. But I think Rebirth, especially, is something that keeps me enthralled in BR.
And I think that's why we're going to be seeing DMZ or whatever is going to be called.
DMZ.
Uh, like the Tarkov like mode. I think
Oh
that's what
yeah,
the
yeah.
I think that's what the data miners refer to it as, but um that's why we're probably going to see like a Tarkov like mode in Modern Warfare 2 because it's going to break away from that standard battle royale formula and do something refreshing for a lot of people.
I think speaking of modes and all these things, somebody Timothy Hobson also commented on the post, which is a very good question, and I'd love to hear your opinion because I saw you've been playing a lot more Extinction recently. What Lust side mode, for example, Exo Zombies, IW Zombies, Extinction, or Chaos Story from BO4? What would you guys like to see return? And if so, are there any
Hmm.
twists? Would you like to, spin on it?
You know, I personally have always been a fan of zombies, and I'm a little bit gutted that we're never going to see a sequel to Infinite Warfare Zombies.
Yeah,
I thought that was really well done, and I did like the story that was being told, and I like the celebrity guest appearances too. In that, that was really fun.
it was like
But
campy, it didn't take itself
yeah,
seriously.
exactly, and that's what made it really enjoyable because it was over the top. It's kind of like whenever you're just there watching a comedy movie and like something really stupid or random would happen. And that's how I've always felt about Infinite Warfare Zombies. It was not taking itself too seriously while at the same time also trying to kind of tell a serious story while also tying back in the Extinction lore, which was really cool. I mean, they did a lot with it that I personally enjoyed.
I think the
But
same. Yeah,
I don't know. I think zombies is like my go-to. I don't really have a specific type of zombies. I'd love to get familiarized with the old crew again. A lot has changed since then, like the voice actors have either retired for health reasons and stuff, but I won't go into that. I don't know if if it would be possible to do anything like we saw with the original zombies ever again, because they've always got to upgrade, they've always got to change. And I don't know. I guess I'd really like to see them take another crack at Extinction again, but give us even more upgrades, more ways to earn stuff, and just have a crazy over the top multiplayer experience with it too. That would be cool. I
I
just realized I answered every single thing that was on the list.
I love that. I love that though.
I
You've
can't
so
decide. It's too hard to choose. I just love everything equally except for freaking survival mode from Modern Warfare 2019. That sucked.
yeah, that was pretty dog shit. I mean, for me at least, I think IW Zombies was, like I was saying before, campy. It didn't take itself too seriously, but yet it was good. They took
Had an
time.
incredible Easter egg too, like
Exactly.
super Easter egg.
Like the depth of the like semi lore, and the execution of the director's mode, whatever, when you do all the super or the Easter eggs together and you have these different things, that was phenomenal. That was replayability at its finest. The story was good, the characters were good, it looked good, it played good. You know, no matter what you think of IW as a whole as a game, IW Zombies stood on its own 2 feet more than I think Exo Zombies and Vanguard Zombies and all these other like side modes. You know,
It's just weird to think too. Like Treyarch has made the most iconic mode in the Call of Duty series, and then like look at Vanguard. It's so out of character for Treyarch. It just seems strange to me.
yeah, I felt like there was. I think there's also a lot more that we don't know that goes on and how things had happened with Vanguard and the timing of it all. And I think there's more than meets the eye with that kind of stuff without looking too in depth to it.
Oh, most definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like from all we know or all we can like, you know, see, they fumbled it pretty heavily. But I wouldn't go straight to the devs. You know, I wouldn't blame them at all. I think time crunch was definitely a big issue with that one. But you know, my answer is probably IW if I had to pick one, because you know, unlike you, I can actually pick one.
I can. I love them all, but yeah, IW Zombies is pretty banger.
Yeah, I think it was good. All right, moving on. Call of Duty segment out of the way. You know,
No more Call of Duty. It's canceled.
Cancelled everything. No MW2. No Warzone 2. It's done. Pack up.
Yeah.
It's time to leave.
I gotta tell you something about that. It's so funny. I made a video saying E3 got canceled.
Yes.
And I had a ton of people dislike it because it was kind of clickbait, but E3 did get canceled, like the digital event.
Yeah.
But then like just a week or two after I made that video, E3 actually got canceled.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, see, I was just foreshadowing.
Suck it, losers. Last night we quickly hopped on a call, seeing where we were with what we wanted to do with today's episode.
Yeah, we wanted to see if we were still friends or, you know.
Yeah, like if he hated me at all. You know. Thankfully he still likes me, and we had a 20-minute conversation just on Michael Jackson. That was probably way more than 20 minutes, to be fair. We were on the call for about like an hour and a half, to be fair. Yeah. Anyway, you mentioned this story about your father. I know nothing about this,
yes.
but you've uploaded a video about it prior. You literally warned me. You threatened everybody around me to not watch the video. I did not, by the way.
It's a crazy story. I mean, I'm gonna have to tell it anyway if we're gonna talk about it, because there's viewers that are watching right now who have no idea who I am.
Oh, this is PrestigeIsKey.
So I'm gonna have to tell the story. All right. So where do I begin? Like, I'm just gonna dive head first because this is a big one. It was when I was around 6 years old. My dad just like disappeared. And I didn't really know at the time what happened. My parents were divorced at the time, and I would go to his where he was staying. Sometimes he would stay at an apartment, sometimes he was staying with I'm assuming his girlfriend, a lady friend or whatever, and I would go for the weekends. But then that just kind of stopped out of nowhere, and I don't really know why. Well, come to find out as I grew up, my father was arrested for robbing banks.
Oh.
Multiple banks.
Oh.
And the FBI showed up to our house and was like questioning my mom and was showing pictures of my real dad, and like I guess, you know, little tiny me, like 6-year-old me or whatever, standing next to him while he was doing some of these robberies. And I remember like going to the bank with him, and he would just like slip a piece of paper underneath the little window, and like he would get money instantly. It was just never like a transaction. Nothing was ever said. That's just my brain remembering it from a young age.
Dang.
So he ended up getting sentenced to, I think he got sentenced to like 25 years in prison, but he ended up serving 20 and getting out. So recently, I guess it wasn't too recently, it was a couple of years back now at this point. I went to visit him for the first time by myself. My mom didn't want me to, but you know, it was my dad. I never had a chance to really reconnect, and I only ever talked to him once in that 20 year span over like a call I got on Christmas one time. Um, so I went to visit him, and it was like he had been stuck in a time capsule, literally. Like he remembered me as a child. He couldn't believe I was driving a car. He couldn't believe that I was, like speaking so eloquently. He didn't know like what to expect because he just remembers me as that 5 or 6 year old kid. So the entire situation was just so incredibly awkward. Um, I stayed there for like 30 minutes and talked to him, and yeah, it's my dad, but it didn't feel like I knew him, which was really weird to say. That's the story about my dad. He went to prison for robbing multiple banks, never used a firearm, got 20 years in prison, and I went to visit him, and that was a couple years ago, and I haven't talked to him since.
When you like, when you say a few years ago, you mean like 3, 4, 5?
It was yeah, it was about 3 years ago.
So you've been balls deep into YouTube. That's your job. That's what you do. Was there ever a question on his side? So, son, what do you do? Did you have to sit down and explain what YouTube was? Because I don't know how time capsuled he was, but I'm sure he had never really saw YouTube, right?
So he didn't know what YouTube was until I think it was my cousin or something had told him. My aunt is, his sister or whatever. I didn't know this at the time, but her son watched my videos.
Oh
Probably still
wow,
does. I don't know. So when he was talking to my dad or whatever this whole time, he was telling him like, yeah, this is your son right here. This is what he does.
that's crazy.
And he asked me a bunch of questions about it, and I was, I didn't mind sharing with him about like, how it all works and whatever, because like I said, he's kind of been in a time capsule. He was talking about like, yeah, when I got out and I saw how thin TVs are now, it's like, oh my god, that's weird to think about.
God damn. Yeah, like we're so used to having everything like at our media and seeing everything all at once, and like putting yourself in their shoes, being like literally locked up for almost 2 decades. That's
Yeah.
that's a long fucking time. And technology has moved so fast recently that it would be a shock to the system, a very big shock, if the mere thought of somebody making a living online, making videos about a video game. When you boil it down to its simplest form, sounds baffling if you're in that kind of position.
Yeah.
Um, so fair
But
play.
I guess I should say like the reason that this was brought up is because one of my followers on Twitter had asked me if there was any update about it, because I hadn't spoke about it in like I said 3 or 4 years.
Well, there's the update. There's the
Yeah,
exclusive.
I never really thought the information was pertinent to anything, but believe it or not, there's still people wondering. So there you go. You're exclusive.
Eat up, children. Dinner time.
It's good. It's a feast.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty interesting story. I'm glad I didn't look at the video prior. You told me not to.
I go into a little bit more detail in the video because I don't know, I was like more collected at that point and just
Yeah,
talking about everything.
the 10-minute mark. I get it, Ryan. It's okay.
Yeah, okay. I think it still was the 10 minutes at
There's
that
no
point.
way. There's no way.
I don't know if I did 10 minutes. I think it was like an 8-minute video or something. Maybe it was
Okay.
10. I don't remember.
The joke still stands. I don't care. So we kind of brushed through my list. Is there anything else on your list that we haven't discussed yet?
Yeah, last night when we were having our rendezvous,
Mm.
we were talking about movies and like an idea, which I won't talk about, but I wanted to say I was thinking about movies and I was thinking about actors and actresses that I really enjoyed
Okay.
over the years. And for some reason, I kept thinking about Robin Williams.
Yeah,
Are you a fan of Robin Williams?
I'm a fan of Robin Williams.
I was just wondering, what do you think he'd be doing today? It was just something that I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I really loved Mrs. Doubtfire. I really loved all of his, comedy films like Flubber, and I loved him in Jumanji and,
You know,
Aladdin and all these different things. Like, you think he would still be doing movies and like
yes,
animated films and stuff?
yes, 100%. I like the second you finished that question, I instantly thought about Jim Carrey, where Jim Carrey is in his career and what he's doing, what kind of films he's doing. His like more this can get pretty deep considering Robin Williams and what has happened, but you near the end you kind of understood that he was going through a lot, mentally and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't even a fake persona, but it was a persona that he put on for I guess a majority of his career, like the happy-go-lucky kind of fella. And I felt like Jim Carrey recently has kind of taken that mask off and started to be more open and a bit more understanding. I saw an interview with Jim Carrey, like the actors sitting around a table. I don't know what it's called, whatever, but they're all talking about the couple of different, situations, and that came up about like Jim Carrey putting off the act. He's like, I just live as me, not Jim Carrey anymore. I'm just me. They were talking about people seeing Jim Carrey in public and how you feel about that, blah blah blah. And I feel like Robin Williams would probably be in a similar position. Him just being a little bit more open.
Did Jim Carrey retire? Didn't I hear like he's retiring or something?
Jim Carrey said that it wouldn't be off the table, I believe, but like nothing's confirmed. Like nothing. I don't even think he knows.
Because I'm pretty sure he said he'd like to continue doing Sonic or something.
I wouldn't mind that. I could see that being his last like big franchise project, and kind of like doing them here and there, kind of just taking a break, chilling out, because he's done a lot. Sense too. I have a question for you.
Sure.
On the whole thing of actors and movies, do you have a favorite actor or actress?
My favorite actor, I would probably say, was Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main reasons why I was thinking about it last night. Robin Williams definitely, like, I loved all the movies in it. Like, he could be in a comedy, he could be in a serious movie, a drama. It just doesn't matter. Like, he always he kind of like was a ditto in the way of just molding himself to whatever movie he's trying to act in.
Funny you say that.
Or not even trying to act, just like literally just showing up and being perfect.
Funny you say that. That's the exact reason why Donald Glover is my favorite actor.
Donald Glover?
Do you not know who Donald Glover is?
No, I know. I was just
okay. I was worried. My heart dropped there for a second. I was like, "Don't you fucking dare!" Who's that Donald Glover fella? No, I think
favorite actress though. I don't know.
I really don't know. I recently sat down for the first time and watched Black Swan, and that movie, if you haven't watched it, is so damn good. And
I've never seen it. Yeah.
No, you've never? Yes, Natalie Portman. I think she is my favorite actress.
Natalie Portman.
Yeah, and great segue to a thing that I wanted to talk about after was
great segue to our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Gamer Advantage.
I was gonna say this. I was gonna say this video is sponsored by, you guessed it, Natalie Portman. Thank you very much for sponsoring this episode.
Thank you so much for sending us $1 million in the big check.
But yes, Code Blast, Gamer Advantage. Protect those fucking eyes, man. You need it.
We could talk about the world's longest podcast.
Okay, so I don't know how we got to this point, but we basically were talking about doing the longest ever podcast, and we were wondering what, how many hours, how many days, months this longest podcast was. And we couldn't find anything else but a bunch of people saying 36 hours. And to us, that's nothing.
That doesn't seem too much. I mean, you have Twitch streamers that broadcast longer than that.
Yeah. Like it seems so in reach where I want to take that crown, and I will put it in stone. One day, I will be number one with the longest podcast ever. I have ideas. It's going to be real easy, and I don't know why it's 30. Maybe we're too ahead of ourselves. Maybe 36 hours is a long time, but I don't think it is, right?
Like that's not even 2 days.
I mean, it's gonna be tiring, but it's not gonna be impossible. Like we could me and you with the shit that we talk about, we could do that
I'm
easily.
guessing that it would have to be one of those situations where both of the parties need to stay awake as well.
Yeah, like what are the rules? Because I don't think there were any any like official podcast rules.
I'd imagine it like there needs to be at least 2. I guess a podcast can just be one person
Yeah, it
too,
could be
but
it could be one.
I wouldn't wanna, like, talk to myself for 48 hours or whatever.
All right, let me. There's a description on thing. Okay, Mike Russell was the guy that apparently did the longest podcast, right? Um, and it looks to be the longest one, but it's in like segments of an hour, where it's R 31, 32, 33, 30, blah, 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 blah. So there's 37 episodes,
Mhm.
an hour each, or one of them's probably going to be a bit less because it's like an
So
hour.
they recorded 37 episodes straight?
I presume no. They say it's a non-stop podcast, but like the actual like podcast is like split up after the fact, at least after the fact.
Oh.
So the description reads as follows: I'm Mike Russell, co-founder of UK. Hey, there we go. UK Podcasters Community and New Media Europe Conference. I was thrilled to host a 36-hour non-stop podcast on the 21st and 22nd of April, 2016. Wasn't that long ago. I didn't sleep for the full 36-hour marathon and broke the world record for the longest ever continuous podcast. I was thrilled to be joined by thousands who watched, listened, and chatted during the live event. Together, we made history in enhancing awareness of all the amazing independent podcasters out there. Blah, blah, blah. The idea of a non-stop podcast is to bring the spotlight on to independent content creators who deserve to get credit for the work they do. So it was non-stop. It was streamed live. Thousands of people tuned in. He was awake the whole time. I didn't sleep for the full 36 hours. Okay, I take back
36
everything I said.
hours is quite a bit.
I take back everything I said before. Fuck that.
I think we could do it. I believe in us.
I think. Yeah, listen, 36 hours. If you like, if you really prepare, I don't know how you can prepare for that, but I think, sure. We're not confirming anything, by the way, guys. That's not happening for a while. Next week, we're going to start the 48-hour podcast.
Next week, we're going to start the 72-hour podcast. How long? Okay, I guess that's another question, too. Like, how long can you stay awake without dying? Is there a time where you just become so fatigued that you just, like, keel over because you need sleep?
Let me Google this. How long can you stay in Spain awake from? The longest recorded time without sleep is approximately 264 hours, or just over 11 consecutive days. Although it's unclear exactly how long humans can survive without sleep, if it isn't long enough before the effects of sleep deprivation can start to show. After only 3 or 4 nights without sleep, you can start to hallucinate.
Yeah, I guess like at that point your body would just give up and you just fall asleep.
Like in the grand scheme of things, it's a long time considering that's you staying awake and thinking about if you've been up for 24 hours, how you feel. But weirdly enough, it feels really low, you know, for that being the longest amount of time. Yeah, but fuck that. I'm good. I
In
like
that
my sleep.
moment, oh my gosh. Like imagine what that person was feeling at that 11-day mark.
It probably feels like a year or two, you know, that they were awake for.
What were they
crazy.
doing? Were they like drinking a bunch of energy drinks? Were they doing like
they were drinking G Fuel with code Blast. I mean, fuck, I don't have a code yet, but you know.
I'm really like that to me is the most fascinating part about the entire study. It's just like what were they doing the whole time to stay awake? Did they have any techniques? Were they just simply, you know,
in a box
baring
room,
their teeth and just doing it? Like,
because the thing is, you do exercise or you work out or you do something, which I don't. Spoiler alert. You can get tired. You do activities, you get tired. So, like, what the fuck? Do you just exist? You just sit there?
Like you're just sitting in a chair. Like, did the person watch TV? Like, I'd imagine you would just like doze off after a minute or two.
he would have had to take a little shut eye, like just you know, just for a little second, just for a little itty bitty second. There had to be
A
that
little.
little second. We're not going to test that. We're going to do a 38-hour podcast just to make sure, and then we'll call it a day. How about that?
Okay, 38 hours. I think we could do that.
I mean, get
We're
some
gonna be
pretty
tired, but-
star-studded guests to rotate. You know, we co-host this shit. We bring in creators, big and small, different, you know, kind of creators.
We'll bring in Ninja. We'll say, "What's up with this new?"
Why does it look like a 5-year-old
logo?
created your brand? Like, what happened here? How much do
I-
you think?
I'm-
How much do you think he paid for it?
I would say probably 50 grand.
Easiest 50 grand. Did you see DJ like reply to Dextero's tweet about like speedrunning ninjas?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
DJ, listen, DJ is talented. That's so goddamn funny. That is
I'm
so
really
funny.
curious. Like, why did I understand that you have to always evolve and like you have to update your branding at some point. We've all done it. I'm pretty sure. Have you done it?
Done what?
Have you updated your branding?
I mean, upgraded. I haven't completely shifted.
Updated. You know, I mean, like changed your logo a bit, or you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Change the profile picture and the banners, you know, things like that. This was a big overhaul, and it just seems really strange to me because the previous one looked way better.
Why is the A lowercase, Ryan?
It looks like it says joy or something.
Let me bring this up again. I was baffled when I saw this. Like, off-brand Adidas for his logo, right? And then
Adidas?
sorry,
Adidas?
Adidas. The
Adidas.
shoe.
I like that better.
We call it Adidas.
I like that way better.
Is it not? Is it Adidas?
No, in America, everyone goes Adidas.
Adidas.
But I like Adidas better.
Adidas. It kind of rolls off the tongue.
It
just a
rolls
little
off
bit
the
better.
tongue.
Yeah. Yeah. I have no words to describe his new rebrand. I mean, I don't want to shit talk somebody else's brand. But what
I
the
think
fuck?
it's just a criticism of the logo. I have nothing against Ninja and the things that he does. I just think it's just a very strange way to like disassociate everybody with who you are in a way.
The fact that like
I don't know why the blue hair is like prominent there. Like, yeah, that's noticeable and like he's known for that, but he doesn't really do that anymore.
I mean, he does. He still has like semi-dyed hair. Yeah, like kind of. It's like faded.
Blue though?
Yeah.
I thought it was like pink and like.
I mean, he did that in the process of his last brand. He kind of changed colors. I mean, I know this. I'm the colored hair representative of Ninja. I literally have the Carnage logo dyed on my head currently. Landon, if you hear this, please come on, man. Come on. Yeah, like I for the fact that Ninja is considerably one of the bigger streamers, one of the biggest at the time, streamers of all time, the fact that he made this I kind of understand the execution. I kind of understand where he's coming from with the design, but at the same time does not mean by any means it's good. That's hot garbage. I'm sorry. That's why is Ninja NINJ all uppercase, capital letters, and the A lowercase, and why is the I and the J fucking huge, and then everything else is thin? Is there something that we're missing? Like genuinely, like a little Easter egg, a little like, oh, this is why, or is it just bad?
I think it's just really bad. I
like the logo. I like the logo with the lines. I think that's pretty clean. I think it's pretty good. I think it's like simple but effective, and it works, right? Very Adidas, but it works.
When you say logo with the lines, are you talking about the hair logo?
I'm talking about the blue logo, the hair, and then the lines in the background with the black. I think that looks nice.
I think that looks good too.
Yeah, I genuinely think it's the font. The font is the worst part about this. It makes it so laughable. And I hate to say that, but I let out a big cackle when I saw that.
Yeah, you did like a big hyena laugh.
Yeah. 100%.
You went, I don't think that's how a hyena sounds.
No, I don't think so, but I'll put that on top of a clip of a hyena. and
Okay,
see how it goes.
good.
Yeah. Post edit, Scott. Please remember to do that. Yeah, I think it's like manageable if it wasn't for the text. The text, the thing that really just, yeah, no, it's not it. How's his other branding stuff? Like, if I look on his Twitch, has he streamed since the rebrand yesterday? Let me see.
I think so.
Let me see. I want to see if they had any alerts. Recent broadcast was 6 days ago.
Oh, so he hasn't streamed since the
No,
broadcast. Okay.
no, which is disappointing. I wanted to see that.
I think that there's a good chance because based off of the feedback that they're getting, it hasn't been very popular. I would assume that they're probably going to change it.
I've seen nobody talk good about it at all.
I have not seen a single positive thing about it.
Yeah. No, that was.
It's just it came out of the blue too. It's just very strange.
But no, listen, guys. Thank you so much for stopping on by and listening. Prestige, thank you for being here and
Of course.
doing another podcasty vibe to the wind down. It's been my pleasure to have you back on. I appreciate you a lot. And is there any closing statements that the PrestigeIsKey needs to bring up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, thanks for having me come on again. It's always fun chatting and being here with your audience and getting the vibe check that I need, like, because it's always so nice. Everyone's so chill. But the final thing that I want to lead off on is, like, if anybody out there's watching this right now and you've watched to this point, first off, thank you. Thanks for liking the video.
God love you. Yeah, God love you.
And I just want to say, if you have any topics that you'd like further discussion about, it doesn't even have to be about Call of Duty. It could be about elephants in the Taiwanese jungle or something. I don't know.
we're definitely going to do another one of these, 100%.
Yeah, like just leave the comments. Just let us know. And I mean, I'm not saying maybe I'll come back, maybe someone else will come back, but having a lot of material helps when it comes to just, sitting down and having conversations. And it splits off to like different branches of conversation, which is really nice. And that happened quite a bit here today. And I'm going to say, I don't think we answered a single question properly. I think we just kind of like went off on a tangent on many things.
We were good at the start with the video games. And then it just went downhill from there. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was fun. So that's what all matters. There's content here. It was fun. You don't hate me, So we're
nope,
golden.
Don't hate you.
Hey, that's a plus. It's a plus. Listen,
you hate me.
No, I fucking love you, dude.
Hey, thank you.
And that's us. Bang.
Bye.